Have you ever stopped to think about why you were born under the sign of Aquarius? Was it just a coincidence? Or is there a greater purpose behind it? The truth is, you didn't come to this planet by chance. Aquarius carries one of the most important spiritual missions among all the signs of the zodiac. And today I'm going to reveal exactly what those 7 missions are that you came to fulfill here on Earth. And look, you can be sure of one thing. When you discover what the universe has planned for you, many things in your life will begin to make sense in a way you never imagined. Do you know that feeling that you've always been different? That you never quite fit into the standards society expected of you? Well, that's not a flaw, my dear Aquarius. That's exactly the sign that you were born with a special mission. While most people are only concerned with their own lives, you came with a much greater calling. You came to transform the world, to bring innovation, to open paths where before there were only walls. And if you're watching this video now, it's no coincidence. The universe is calling you to fully awaken to your true purpose. Over the next few minutes, you will discover each of the 7 spiritual missions you brought with you when you decided to be born under the sign of Aquarius. And I guarantee, at least 3 of these missions will give you goosebumps, because it will be impossible not to recognize that you are already living them, even without being fully aware of it. Some of these revelations will explain why you have always had certain behaviors, certain anxieties, certain desires that even you couldn't quite understand. So stay with me until the end, because the last mission is so powerful that it can completely change the way you see your life from now on. Mission 1: to be the bearer of collective consciousness. The first spiritual mission you brought as an Aquarius is something grand, something few signs can carry with the same intensity as you. You came to be the bearer of collective consciousness. But what does that mean in practice? It means you weren't born just to take care of yourself, your family, or your small circle. You were born with the capacity to feel the world's pain, to perceive injustices that happen even far from you, to be indignant about situations that don't even directly affect you. While other people can live peacefully focusing only on themselves, you can't. It seems there's something inside you that always pushes you to think about the collective, the greater good, humanity as a whole. And that's not weakness, quite the opposite. It's your greatest spiritual strength. The universe chose you to carry this expanded sensitivity precisely because it knew you would have the courage to do something with it. You've probably already noticed that you feel a deep connection to humanitarian causes, to social issues, to everything that involves the well-being of many people at the same time. This isn't a fad, it's not an exaggeration, it's not you being dramatic as some people may have said. This is your spiritual mission manifesting itself. You came to raise the consciousness of the people around you, to show that there is a different way of living, a way where everyone matters, where no one is left behind. Often, this mission can weigh heavily on your shoulders. You may feel tired of carrying so much worry about the world, of caring so much when it seems like nobody else cares anymore. You may even have moments when you just want to switch off all this sensitivity and live like other people live without thinking so much. But the truth is that would be betraying your own essence. You can't switch off because you shouldn't. This expanded awareness is exactly what the world needs right now. And you know what's even more incredible? When you fully embrace this mission, when you stop fighting against your nature of caring about the collective, something magical happens. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, the right resources to truly make a difference. The universe conspires in favor of those who accept their spiritual missions. So every time you feel that restlessness of wanting to change the world, of wanting to help, of wanting to do something bigger, know that it's not madness on your part. It's the call of your soul reminding you of why you are here. Your mission as a bearer of collective consciousness also means that you came to unite people. You have a natural gift for seeing beyond the superficial differences that separate human beings. While others remain trapped in prejudices, judgments, and silly divisions, you can see the humanity that exists in each person. You can build bridges where others only see abysses. And that, my Aquarius friend, is sacred. Continue being that unifying force, even when the world seems increasingly divided. Mission 2: break outdated patterns and bring innovation. The second spiritual mission of the Aquarius sign is revolutionary, in the truest sense of the word. You came to this planet with the task of breaking outdated patterns and bringing innovation to every area you set foot in. And this is not optional, you understand? It's in your spiritual DNA to question everything that no longer makes sense, everything that people continue to do simply because it's always been that way. From a young age, you probably bothered the adults around you with questions like, "But why does it have to be this way? Isn't there a better way to do this?" Why hasn't anyone ever tried a different way? And many times they called you rebellious, stubborn, complicated. But the truth is that you were simply fulfilling your spiritual mission without even knowing it. You were born to not accept things simply because everyone else accepts them. This mission manifests itself in various ways in your life. It can be at work, where you always have different ideas on how to improve processes, how to do things more efficiently, more fairly, more creatively. It can be in relationships where you seek more authentic, freer connections, far from those old and rigid patterns that trap people in roles that no longer make sense. It can be in the way you see spirituality, education, society as a whole. What you need to understand is that this restlessness that drives you, this constant desire to do things differently, to think outside the box, to propose new paths, is not a personality flaw. It's your spiritual mission screaming from within you. The universe sent you here precisely to shake up the structures that are hindering the evolution of humanity. And yes, this will make many people find you strange, too rebellious, complicated, difficult to deal with. Let them talk. The innovation you bring isn't just technological, although many Aquarians excel in that area. It's innovation in thought, behavior, and values. You've come to show that there's another way to live, to relate, to build a society. And that scares people who are comfortable with the old way of doing things. But it's not your role to make everyone feel comfortable. It's your role to move forward with your innovative ideas, even when no one understands them yet. Many of your ideas will be misunderstood at first. People will say you're crazy, that it will never work, that you should be more realistic. But in a few years, those same people will be doing exactly what you proposed. Because that's how the innovator's mission works. You see the future before others. You sense where humanity needs to go. And even if it takes time, even if you encounter resistance, your ideas eventually become reality. So whenever you feel the urge to silence your innovative mind, to conform to the way things are just to avoid conflict, remember, you didn't come here to conform. You came here to transform. Keep proposing changes, keep thinking differently, keep being that force of renewal that the world so desperately needs. Your audacity to think outside the box is sacred and necessary. Mission 3. Defend the freedom and authenticity of every being. The third spiritual mission you carry as an Aquarius is perhaps one of the most beautiful and necessary at this moment in humanity. You came to defend the freedom and authenticity of every being. And when I say every being, I don't just mean yourself. It's the freedom of all the people around you to be who they truly are, without masks, without pretense, without needing to fit into the boxes that society has created. You have a natural aversion to any kind of imprisonment, be it physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. You can't bear to see people suffocated by toxic relationships, by jobs that destroy the soul, by social expectations that force people to live lives they didn't choose. And this sensitivity of yours to perceive when someone is trapped in a situation is no accident. It's your mission calling you to action. Often, you find yourself naturally giving advice to people on how to break free, encouraging that friend to leave a relationship that's destroying them, supporting that family member to follow their dream, even when everyone says it's crazy, defending someone's right to be different, even when everyone is criticizing. You do this without even thinking much, because this need to defend freedom is in your spiritual blood. And you know what? A lot of people don't understand this. They'll say you're too libertine, that you don't respect traditions, that you encourage people to be irresponsible. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You don't advocate chaos, you advocate authenticity. You don't want people to be irresponsible. You want them to be true to themselves. There's a huge difference between them. Your mission also includes defending your own freedom and authenticity. You weren't born to live the life others planned for you. You didn't come here to follow a pre-written script, to meet expectations, to be what your family expected, what society thinks is right, what your friends think is normal. You came to discover who you truly are, and to live that life intensely without apologizing, without diminishing yourself. But I'll tell you a truth that might hurt a little. This mission of defending freedom will often put you at odds with the people you love, because not everyone is ready for that freedom. Many people prefer the security of a familiar prison to the uncertainty of freedom. And when you try to free someone who doesn't want to be freed, you suffer. You get frustrated. You don't understand why the person prefers to continue suffering in a bad situation rather than risk something new. Here is the great lesson of this mission. You can defend freedom, you can show the way, you can open doors, but you cannot force anyone to walk through them. Each person has their own time, their own process, their own awakening. Your mission is to be the voice that reminds people that they have a choice, that there is another way, that freedom is possible. But the decision to walk through the door will always be up to each individual. Continue being that champion of authenticity. Continue showing people through your own example that it's possible to live freely and truthfully. Continue creating spaces where people feel safe to be who they truly are, without judgment, without demands. This is one of the most precious gifts you can give to the world. And the more you embrace your own authenticity, the more strength you have to defend that of others. If this message resonated with your zodiac sign, trust me, it's no coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal, and you're here because you needed to hear this today. Your contribution as a subscriber or member is what keeps these messages alive. Messages that touch, awaken, and transform lives. And if this video made sense to you, leave your birth date in the comments. Let's continue with our video now. Mission 4. To serve as a bridge between heaven and earth. The fourth spiritual mission that the sign of Aquarius brought to this planet is profoundly mystical and powerful. You came to serve as a bridge between heaven and earth, between the spiritual world and the material world, between the higher dimensions and this physical reality where we are now. And this places you in a very special position within the divine plan. You've probably always had a strong connection to the spiritual world, even if you haven't always known how to name it. Perhaps since childhood you've had experiences you couldn't explain. Very vivid dreams that seemed like messages. Strong intuitions that always proved true. Feelings of being guided by something greater, even when you were alone. All of this is part of your nature as a bridge between worlds. What happens is that you have the ability to capture information, energies, and knowledge from higher planes and bring them into this reality in a practical way. You are not one of those mystics who remain only in a world of dreams, lost in fantasies. You can take spiritual wisdom and transform it into concrete actions, into ideas that can be applied, into real solutions to everyday problems. That is your magic. Many Aquarians excel in fields that blend spirituality with practicality. They might be holistic therapists using innovative methods. They might be teachers who bring spiritual concepts to education in a revolutionary way. They might be artists who channel higher messages through their art. They might be scientists studying the connection between quantum physics and spirituality. In one way or another, you are always connecting these two worlds. Your mission as a bridge also means that you came to translate complex spiritual concepts in a way that everyone can understand. You know those profound spiritual truths that seem impossible to explain? You have the gift of taking that and transforming it into something simple, accessible, that anyone can understand. You democratize spirituality, taking it out of that elitist place and bringing it to the people. But this mission also has its challenges. Living between two worlds can be exhausting. There are times when you feel out of place in this material reality, wanting to simply float in spiritual dimensions and forget about earthly problems. And there are other times when you need to be so present in the practical matters of life that you barely have time to connect with the spiritual. Finding the balance between these two worlds is part of your learning process. What you need to understand is that your spiritual sensitivity doesn't make you any less capable of dealing with the material world. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The stronger your connection to the spiritual, the clearer it becomes what you need to do here on Earth. The two things complement each other. They don't exclude each other. You don't have to choose between being spiritual or being practical. You were born to be both at the same time. Your ability to move between worlds also gives you access to solutions that other people can't see. When everyone else is stuck in logical and rational thinking, you can access insights from higher planes that bring completely new answers. Many of your best ideas, your most brilliant solutions didn't come from ordinary reasoning. They came from your connection with higher dimensions. So honor your bridging nature. Don't be afraid to move between the spiritual and the material. Continue bringing the wisdom of heaven to earth. Continue showing people that it's possible to live a spiritually rich life without abandoning earthly responsibilities. Continue being that channel of light that illuminates both the spiritual and practical paths of life. The world urgently needs your ability to unite what seems separate. Mission 5. Sowing the future through visionary ideas. The fifth spiritual mission you carry as an Aquarius is absolutely fascinating and places you in the position of a prophet of the new times. You came to sow the seeds of the future through visionary ideas. This means you weren't born to live only in the present. You were born seeing decades ahead, perceiving where humanity needs to go, sensing what the next stages of collective evolution are. Often, people don't understand your ideas because they are too advanced for the present moment. You talk about things that will make sense in 5, 10, 20 years. You propose solutions to problems that most people haven't even realized exist yet. You sense changes coming long before they manifest in concrete reality. And this can be frustrating because you constantly live in the future while everyone around you is stuck in the past or, at most, the present. Think about it. How many times have you had a brilliant idea and everyone said it was impossible, that it would never work, that you were dreaming too big? And how many of those ideas years later have you seen other people putting into practice and succeeding with them? This happens because you are a born visionary. You grasp future trends before they become reality. You sense the transformations that are coming before they arrive. Your mission to sow the seeds of the future isn't limited to just having ideas. It goes far beyond that. You need to plant these visionary seeds in people's consciousness, even knowing that many of them will only germinate later. It's as if you were a gardener of the future, sowing today what will bloom tomorrow. And that requires a lot of patience, a lot of faith, a lot of persistence. There will be times when you will feel misunderstood, isolated, as if you were talking to yourself. Your ideas will be rejected, ridiculed, ignored. They will call you crazy, a dreamer, an idealist who has their feet on the ground. And in those moments, the temptation to give up, to keep your visions to yourself, to stop sharing will be great. But don't fall into that trap. The world needs your visionary seeds, even if it takes time to recognize that. The interesting thing is that you don't choose these visions of the future. They simply come to you. They can come in dreams, in sudden insights, in strong feelings about certain directions that society needs to take. You don't invent this, you capture it. It's as if you were an antenna tuned to the frequencies of the future, receiving information about what is to come, about what needs to be built, about which paths humanity should follow. And do you know what the most important part of this mission is? You don't have to accomplish all these visions alone. That's not what the universe expects of you. Your mission is to sow, to plant ideas, to show possible paths. Other people will join you. They will take these seeds and help cultivate them. They will transform your visions into concrete realities. You are the initiator, the trailblazer, the one who opens the paths to the future. Therefore, never underestimate the power of your ideas, even when they seem impossible at the present moment. Keep sharing your visions, keep talking about the future you envision, keep proposing changes that seem too distant. Because somewhere, someone is listening. Somewhere, one of those seeds is falling on fertile ground. And in some time, you will look back and see that that crazy idea you had years ago is now transforming the world. Trust your visions. Trust your ability to see beyond the obvious. Continue being that sower of the future, even when the present seems to resist your ideas. History always vindicates visionaries, but it usually takes a while. You are planting trees under whose shade you may never sit, but which will shelter future generations. And that is sacred. Mission 6. Healing through brotherhood and universal love. The sixth spiritual mission of the Aquarius sign touches on one of the most beautiful and transformative aspects of your presence in this world. You came to heal through fraternity and universal love. And I'm not talking about romantic love, the kind of love from fairy tales. I'm talking about expansive love, a love that embraces all of humanity, a love that sees beyond differences and recognizes the divine essence in every being. You have a natural ability to love people without needing to possess them, without needing them to be a specific way to deserve your affection. Your love is free, universal, and unconditional in a way that many people can't understand. And this often puts you in complicated situations because people confuse your fraternal love with other types of love, or they think you're too distant because you don't show love in the conventional way. But the truth is, your way of loving is revolutionary. You love humanity. You genuinely care about people you've never met, about causes that don't directly affect you, about suffering on the other side of the planet. Your heart is so big that it embraces the whole world, and that's not poetic exaggeration. It's literal. You feel a deep connection with the human family as a whole. This mission of healing through brotherhood manifests itself in various ways. It can be through volunteer work, activism, and advocacy for social causes. It can be through the way you treat people, always with respect, always recognizing the dignity of each individual, regardless of social class, race, religion, or any other superficial difference. It can be through your ability to create communities to unite different people around common goals. You have a special gift for making people feel part of something bigger. When someone is feeling alone, excluded, too different, you appear and show that there is a place for everyone, that there is a larger family, a brotherhood that goes beyond blood ties. You create spaces where people can be themselves and still feel like they belong to a group, a community, a greater cause. And this capacity to love universally also brings a very powerful healing force. When you look at someone with that gaze that sees beyond mistakes, beyond flaws, beyond masks, and sees the good essence that exists within, you are healing. When you treat someone with dignity even when everyone else is despising them, you are healing. When you offer friendship without demanding anything in return, without expecting the person to transform into who you want them to be, you are healing. But I'll be honest with you. This mission of universal love will also hurt you sometimes, because you'll love people who won't love you back in the same way. You'll care about people who will disappoint you. You'll open your heart to those who perhaps don't deserve it, and that will hurt. There will be times when you'll question whether it's worth continuing to love like this, so openly, so unprotected. The answer is yes, it's worth it. Because every time you choose to love universally, fraternally, unconditionally, you are raising the vibration of this planet. You are showing that there is another way to relate, a way based on true brotherhood and not on selfish interests. You are sowing love where there was indifference, fraternity where there was division, unity where there was separation. So don't let disappointments close your heart. Don't allow ingratitude to turn you into a bitter person. Continue loving universally. Continue seeing the good in people. Continue building bridges of brotherhood. The world is full of hatred, division, and selfishness. It urgently needs your revolutionary way of loving. Continue being that source of love that heals, unites, and uplifts. Continue building universal brotherhood, one person at a time, one gesture at a time. Mission 7. Awakening humanity to its inner divinity. And finally, we arrive at the 7th and final spiritual mission of the Aquarius sign. And this is perhaps the most profound and transformative of all. You have come to awaken humanity to its inner divinity. This means that you carry the sacred responsibility of reminding people of who they truly are, of the divine essence that dwells within every human being, of the limitless potential that lies dormant in most souls. We live in a society that does everything to make people forget their true nature. The system wants everyone to believe they are just physical bodies, just workers, just consumers. It wants people to live small, limited lives, trapped in boxes, never questioning their own power, their own magnitude, their own connection to the divine. And that is exactly what you came to fight against. Your presence, your way of being, your words, your actions, everything about you serves to awaken in others the memory that they are much more than they appear to be. You do this sometimes without even realizing it. When you treat someone as a divine being, even when that person is acting in a very human, very flawed way, you are activating in them the memory of their own divinity. When you refuse to accept the limitations that society imposes and live your life expansively, you are showing others that they can too. Often, this mission manifests itself through your spiritual rebellion. You don't accept religious dogmas that diminish humanity, that place God far away, inaccessible, separate from us. You intuitively know that the divine is within each of us, that we are all part of this creative energy, that we carry within us the same power that created the stars. And you are not afraid to say this, even when they call you a heretic, a blasphemer, arrogant. Because it's not arrogance to acknowledge one's own divinity. Arrogance is thinking you're better than others. But recognizing that there's a divine spark within you, and within all beings, is simply spiritual honesty. It's simply awakening to the truth that has always been there, but that we've been taught to forget. And you, Aquarius, came precisely to make people remember this. Your mission also involves showing that spirituality and freedom go hand in hand. There is no true spiritual awakening without freedom of thought, without autonomy, without questioning, without seeking your own answers. You came to liberate people from spiritual prisons, from those limiting beliefs that have been imposed, from those fears that use the name of God to control and manipulate. And you know what's most beautiful about all this? You don't need to be a guru, a famous spiritual master, someone with thousands of followers to fulfill this mission. You awaken the divinity in people through small, everyday interactions. When you treat the shop assistant with the same respect you would treat an important authority, you are reminding that person of their own divine dignity. When you see potential in someone that everyone else has already given up on, you are awakening in that person the memory of their own power. Humanity is going through a moment of collective awakening, but many people are still fast asleep. They are trapped in automatic lives, repeating patterns without questioning, accepting limitations without fighting, living far below their potential. And that's where you come in. You are the one who arrives and shakes things up, who asks uncomfortable questions, who shows that there is another way, who ignites the flame of consciousness where before there was only darkness. This mission may seem too heavy for your shoulders. How can one person awaken all of humanity? But you are not alone in this task. There are other Aquarians, other awakened beings scattered throughout the world, each doing their part, each lighting their own light. And when many lights come together, darkness has no chance. So do not underestimate the power of your individual light. It is necessary, it is important, it is part of a greater plan. Continue being that awakener of consciences. Continue reminding people of who they truly are. Continue showing that we are all divine, all powerful, all connected to the same creative source. Continue questioning the structures that seek to keep humanity asleep. Continue being that awakening force that the world so desperately needs right now. Your mission is sacred, it is urgent, it is transformative. And you were born with exactly all the gifts necessary to fulfill it. So these are the 7 spiritual missions that the sign of Aquarius came to fulfill on this earth. To be the bearer of collective consciousness. To break outdated patterns and bring innovation. To defend the freedom and authenticity of each being. To serve as a bridge between heaven and earth. To sow the future through visionary ideas. To heal through fraternity and universal love. And to awaken humanity to its inner divinity. Each of these missions is important. Each has its value. Each contributes to the greater plan of humanity's evolution. Now that you know about these missions, the question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue living as an ordinary person, without a greater purpose, merely surviving day after day? Or will you fully embrace your spiritual missions, and live the extraordinary life you were born for? The choice is always yours. Free will is sacred. But know that the universe is waiting for you, is rooting for you, is preparing the way for you to shine in your greatest potential. It doesn't matter if you're just beginning to awaken to these missions, or if you've been working on them for years. What matters is to continue evolving, to continue serving, to continue being that revolutionary light that the world so desperately needs. Your missions aren't easy, I know. They will challenge you, they will take you out of your comfort zone. They will put you in situations where you will need a lot of courage. But you wouldn't have received these missions if you didn't have the necessary strength to fulfill them. Look at everything you've been through in life. All the challenges, all the difficulties, all the moments when you thought you wouldn't make it. You survived it all because you were being prepared for your missions. Each obstacle overcome made you stronger. Each disappointment taught you something important. Each difficult moment polished some quality you needed to have. Nothing was in vain. Everything brought you to this moment where you finally understand the reason for everything. And I want to ask you a question before we finish. Did you recognize your missions in this video? Did you feel that shiver of identification when I talked about any of them? That's no coincidence. When the universe wants to confirm a truth for you, it makes you feel it. So pay attention to what resonated with you most during this video. It's probably the mission that's most active in your life right now, or the one that needs your attention the most at this moment. I want to invite you now to look at your life with different eyes. From today onwards, when you wake up in the morning, remember, you are not just anyone living an ordinary life. You are an Aquarius with sacred spiritual missions. You came here with higher purposes. Each day is an opportunity to fulfill a little more of these missions. Every person you meet may be someone who needs your gift of awakening consciousness. Every challenge can be a chance to exercise your ability to innovate and transform. And if you still don't know where to begin, if you're feeling lost about how to put all this into practice, start with the simple things. Start by being more yourself, more authentic. Start by defending your freedom and the freedom of others. Start by looking at people with more brotherly love. Start by sharing your ideas without fear. Start small, but start. Because the universe responds to action, not intention. When you take the first step, the whole universe conspires to help you take the next ones. If this message resonated with your zodiac sign, trust me, it's no coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal, and you're here because you needed to hear this today. Your contribution as a subscriber or member is what keeps these messages alive. Messages that touch, awaken, and transform lives. And if this video made sense to you, leave your birth date in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, this is your opportunity to become part of this incredible community of people who are seeking spiritual growth, who want to understand their purpose, and who are committed to their own transformation. Click the subscribe button, activate the bell so you don't miss any content, because every week there's a new video bringing important messages for your spiritual growth. And for those of you who are already subscribed, already follow the channel, already part of this family, I want to invite you to go further. Consider becoming a channel member. With your contribution, you help keep this work alive, help bring these messages to more and more people who need to hear them, help build an increasingly strong and united community. And in addition, you have access to exclusive content, participate in special moments that I prepare only for members. It's a beautiful exchange where everyone wins. So this is my final message to you today, my dear Aquarius. You are special. You have important missions. You were born to transform this world. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Don't let society diminish you. Don't let fears paralyze you. You came here with everything you need to fulfill your missions. Now you just need the courage to begin, or to continue with even more intensity if you have already begun. May the universe bless you. May your missions manifest with ever greater clarity in your life. May you find the strength to continue even when the path seems difficult. And may you always remember, you are not alone on this journey. There is a greater force guiding you, there are other Aquarians walking beside you, and there is this channel here always bringing messages to strengthen you. A huge hug to your heart, and see you in the next video.